Hello, Stratters. Nick here, playing another match of Modern, this week with Jeskai Control. We're on the draw, but we're going to go ahead and keep this hand. Treetop Village. So I'll take two from the Hallowed Fountain, Serum Visions, and I would like a Path to Exile, but this other Serum Visions, I don't think I really want. We have a lot of cards to churn through here already. I would rather have more action, a little bit less air. So what do we have here? Okay, so this looks like that green stompy deck. So I'm going to place Scalding Tarn and keep up Essence Scatter. If the opponent does nothing, we'll have the option to think twice. You have to be careful when you land your removal spells in this matchup. A lot of these decks play Vines of the Vastwood, or that new effect. It's gives +2/+2 in hexproof. I can't remember the name, but it's in standard now. It was in Kaladesh. That's another card that they play. So it can be a blowout if you go to, path their guy at begin combat and they vines it, or use this hexproof pump spell. So Scavenging Ooze is kind of annoying with Snapcasters and whatnot in our deck. That's definitely something I'll feel good about Essence Scattering. All right. Serum Visions. Negate is a card that we might actually want. And go ahead and okay, let's see how we want to play this out. So I think what we're going to want to do is eventually path with Negate back up in case they do have one of those give hexproof effects. So I guess this turn our options are to Serum Visions, play a tap land, or to hold up Think Twice. I guess since we know the card that we have on top of our deck and that we want it, I'll go ahead and Serum Visions so we can draw the card that we know about, and then don't want another land. We do want the path. And then I'll play the Sacred Foundry tapped, pass to the opponent. So another Treetop Village. And any follow-up play? Keranos the Indomitable. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and path this guy while the opponent's tapped out. Play Sulfur Falls, and then again we'll have path with Negate backup available to us. Keranos, I mean, obviously it's a 5-power card. It's fairly threatening in that aspect. But with Path to Exile being our removal, we have ways of dealing with it, and they have to have a creature to turn it on. It's got to be, what, 4 power or greater? Strangleroot Geist, that's fine. And I wonder if they're going to pump the Strangleroot Geist to turn on the Keranos. Seems like a pretty good use of our mana from the opponent. Aspect of the Hydra to turn it on. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and path that. And then if they have a hexproof effect, we have Negate. Yeah, kicked Vines, so negate the Vines. So this deals with all their threats. Now we'd really like a Snapcaster Mage because we're not going to be able to deal with all the opponent's threats forever. Like next turn the opponent can activate a Treetop Village and pump it and attack with the Ronus. Okay, so just attacking with Treetop Village. Gonna go ahead here and fire off a Think Twice. Alright. And then I'll fetch and flashback Think Twice. It's not good for us, but and take just an island. Flashback. Sort of any removal spell here. Okay, that's not bad. Secure the Waste, also fine draw. So I think we want the untapped land. Okay, activates Treetop Village. Looks like they're going to activate Ronus. Okay, on Treetop Village. So then once it's declared as an attacker, I'm going to condemn it, and that, I believe, also removes the Ronus from combat. And then I might just want to secure the wastes for 4 here and trade off. Okay, so it can attack or block, but since it's already declared as an attacker, okay, that's how that works. See, this doesn't have trample. This does. I think I just want to secure the wastes and what happened? Oh, I didn't pay a white. Secure the waste and chump block Ronus, trade off with the Avatar. Seems good to me. Okay, so it's good to know. So that's the kind of thing where if you remove the devotion requirement for the Theros gods, it would remove them from combat because they became enchantments. But that's not the case with these gods, it appears. Alright, Sphinx's Revelation. So the opponent's line of play is probably going to be animate Treetop Village, and if they draw a land, they can pump it to turn on Ronus. I have a chump blocker for Ronus, and this would be a 5-power Trampler. So my key decision here is whether or not I want to take the damage from my Hallowed Fountain to draw an extra card. So really it's going to be net 1 life that I lose. And and then I'll gain. I think it's worthwhile to take the damage to have a slightly bigger Sphinx's Revelation. Does Aspect of Hydra give Trample? Does not. Okay, that's good to know. So, I guess one thing that they can do is just tap the village itself to turn on Ronus. It looks like they're just gonna attack with Treetop Village. And that's fine. I'll go to 1. If they have any spells here. Aspect of Hydra. So this forces my hand on Sphinx's Revelation. So draw 4, gain 4. If they have another pump spell, probably dead. Not much I can do about that. Okay. So Supreme Verdict not looking the best here. Okay, Path to Exile, that's a good draw. So I'll cast Serum Visions. Don't need another land. Secure the Waste will be fine. I want to be able to Path to Exile. Let's see, what's the... So Path, that takes up this mana. Think twice. And then have at least the option to draw that, secure the Waste, and do it for a decent amount. I'm kind of hoping the opponent does is maybe reload with a couple creatures here, so I can just Supreme Verdict them away. This Treetop Village requires me to use a Path to Exile on it. So Strangleroot Geist, and Ronus pumps that. I think I actually want to take, well, let's see, now this Strangleroot Geist has Trample. Yeah, I'm just going to Path to Exile the Strangleroot Geist. So this turns off Ronus. And even though Ronus is somewhat difficult to deal with, as long as I keep the board relatively free of creatures, you know, I know when Ronus is going to be a threat and when it's not going to be a threat. Okay, so drawing a lot of lands. Guess we can get this into play tapped. It's also kind of annoying that this particular deck plays almost all basic lands, so all my paths are just giving them extra mana, which is helping them to, you know, activate Treetop Village, activate Ronus. So how much removal do I have left? I have access to Snapcaster Mages. So I think maybe what I want to do is just cast the Secure the Waste for the full amount. Chump block Ronus, and then do enough to trade with the Treetop Village. And I'm not exactly sure if I want to put a little bit more in front of it. This deck could play Mutagenic Growth, and I don't think I want to die to that particular card. So 4 would mean that if they Mutagenic Growth, it would have 7 power. I would absorb. I think that this is an okay block. Putting another one in front of it. If they do have Mutagenic Growth, like this does kill all my block. I think this is okay. So I'm kind of, if they don't have it, I'm giving up 1 extra token. It's kind of the issue there. Okay, play that. Now I have plenty of chump blockers for Ronus. All the treetops are dealt with, so at this point they might just play, a bunch of creatures, and if they do that, I can Supreme Verdict. They also might have, different random pump spells and, the hexproof effects in their hand. Let's see. So Scavenging Ooze, I'm going to cast Think Twice, and flashback Think Twice. If I draw Essence Scatter, this is a card that I would Essence Scatter. Okay, so that's fine. Find my last basic. Cast Think Twice. And then flash it back right away. Okay, so Snapcaster isn't the best because of Scavenging Ooze. So I think what I want to do is just Supreme Verdict the board away. And then it's important to do this now so my opponent can only exile 1 of my spells. Okay, didn't activate the Ooze. So that makes me think that they for sure have some sort of hexproof type effect. And I'll just go ahead and play a land. I have one fetchable left in the deck. So nothing to activate Ronus with. I'll go ahead and fetch the last fetchable, and then save these Snapcasters to do something a little bit bigger with, I think. So cast Nahiri. Yes, I'd like to discard a land. Okay, drew another Snapcaster, so now we have the ability to do some different Snapcaster path type action. And Ronus doesn't have trample, so even if the Snapcaster we path, the path on Ronus fizzles because of a hexproof effect, we still have a Snapcaster to chump block with. And let's see, if I fired off a Baby Revelation, it wouldn't be for very much. That still might be worthwhile. I'm going to wait a turn. That could be playing with fire a little bit. Yes, discard this Flooded Strand. Okay, path to exile. Perfect. So now with all these paths and Snapcaster Mages, Negate to even counter a hexproof effect, feeling really good about this. We have an Nahiri on 8, and the opponent doesn't know that we don't have an Emrakul in the deck, so they might feel like they're obliged to try to hedge and deal with Nahiri in some way. So activates Experiment 1, and if they just sink their mana to do this one more time, we can have an easy path to exile on Experiment 1, then we can probably Snapcaster secure the wastes, and that will put the game in our favor in short order. Go ahead and path to exile the Experiment 1. Probably have to negate a hexproof effect. And I don't mind any of these cards, so not gonna discard. At this point, we'll probably Snapcaster, secure the wastes. Secure the wastes for 1,000,000. I guess 8 isn't, really 1,000,000. And I don't mind having another land. Probably at this point just discard fetch land since they have nothing to fetch out. Nope. Attack with these. So I kind of wonder what the opponent's other card in hand is. It could be another Ronus. That's a good possibility. And I don't really feel the need to do anything. And at this point, I think, yeah, so we want to attack with enough that they're on a 2-turn clock. And then I'm just going to leave one guy back, just in case. At this point, I don't think there's, we have, Snapcaster Path, and even after that, we have, a mini Sphinx's Revelation. So I don't foresee that there's a whole lot that could go wrong. Okay, Dismember on a Snapcaster, that makes sense as a card for them to have. Experiment 1. And we'll go ahead and Snapcaster Path to Exile on the Experiment 1, and that wraps up the game. So we never actually had to deal with Ronus itself. Just had to always deal with the other creatures that the opponent had. Okay, so we won that one. It's nice. What would we want here? So perhaps Dispel, perhaps Radiant Flames. Could see maybe a Crumble because of how annoying Treetop Villages were that game. How good would Staticaster be? Would be okay, I think. So these are all the options. I think we definitely want to shave a little bit on some of our cards that are air. And I don't think Negate. Dispel is just a better Negate in this particular matchup. So I think cutting down on some Think Twice is just so we draw more cards that actually do things and less cards that just kind of dirtle. Is kind of what we want. See, our X spells are all even fine in this matchup if we only fire them off for a small amount. Maybe we don't. Staticaster is probably better on the play than it is on the draw. So maybe I don't actually want Staticaster. And then the only other kind of suspect card is, again, this Crumble to Dust. But given how annoying the Treetop Villages were that game, it would be nice just to have a card that we can, cast it, take care of the one that's on board, and then never have to worry about another one for the rest of the match. Or for the rest of the game. Potentially the rest of the match if we win this one. Yeah, this hand is, I think, kind of what we want, really. Path, Essence Scatters, deal with creatures, plenty of lands. Supreme Verdict's good in the matchup. Okay, so they have an Experiment 1. Play this Flooded Strand. Just fetch out a Hallowed Fountain. Sure, Strangleroot Geist. And at this point, I think I'm actually gonna take 2 and deal with the Strangleroot Geist. So not always good to be pathing on the first turn of the game. It just gives the opponent access to extra mana for the whole rest, more turns than they would have if you pathed later. But Strangleroot Geist is an annoying card, and eventually we are gonna line up a path to exile against it. So I don't see an issue with doing it sooner rather than later. So likely just line up Essence Scatter against whatever the opponent plays. Probably just preserve the life total and get an island here. This Flooded Strand is very likely to go and get okay, and it was nice that we lined up things like that, because this would have evolved the Experiment 1 one more time. Okay, so I think we want to for sure get and the whole, if we evolve the Experiment 1 one more time, it turns on this Regeneration clause, which will be good against the Supreme Verdict. So I think here I want to actually get another blue-white. We don't have any red cards in hand. And I don't see any reason to take damage. We just want to make sure that we get our 4th land drop with this Serum Visions. Okay, so we found that. If the opponent had a Treetop Village, would they have played it? Probably, so I don't think we want this Crumble to Dust, and Scalding Tarn gives us access to red mana. I think that's fine. We'd take definitely the first red source. So if the opponent's able to evolve the Experiment 1, I don't know, in some ways that could be good for us because it puts another creature to get with the Supreme Verdict, but in other ways it would make it... Okay, they do have a Treetop Village. I think since, even though we don't, we would need both that Crumble and the red source, that's fine. I think it's fine that we put that Crumble to the bottom, even though it would have dealt with the Treetop really nicely. So puts us to 6. And no follow-up play. Okay. So play that. Cast our Supreme Verdict. And if the opponent has, let's see, they have the mana to activate. If they have a Vines of the Vastwood, they just activate Treetop Village, pump it, and we die. But I don't think there's much that we can do about that. So probably just hope that activate Treetop Village attack and then play another creature. It's probably our best chance here. They don't have any devotion, so Aspect of Hydra isn't really a pump spell. The only thing we're worried about is Vines of the Vastwood. Okay, and it looks like they didn't have it. So Dryad Militant and Relic Progendus. So Relic is going to be very good against the Snapcaster Mages. I think at this point maybe what we do is just try to Cryptic, tap the team. So yeah, tap all creatures, draw a card. And I do want to leave, I think, this unfetched before, in case they had something like Guttural Response or something that we would want to dispel. And I think I do want to fetch out a red source here. That's fine. Okay, and they may activate Relic at end step, just to try to draw a card, get some more action. If they do that, I will Snapcaster Path. Okay. So at this point, we want to try to line up a Path to Exile on Treetop Village and a Snapcaster block. Okay, so cast Snapcaster Mage. This will force the Relic to get used. Then I'll use the Path from my hand on the Treetop Village and block the Dryad Militant with the Snapcaster Mage. That takes 1 from Experiment 1, but we have another Snapcaster Mage. It's kind of annoying that this Dryad Militant's going to exile this path. Well, actually, so I think what I can do, I'm pretty sure this works. Let's find out together, is to path to exile this Dryad Militant. So the Dryad Militant's exiled. That means that this path is going to go to the graveyard, and so I will still have a target for this Snapcaster Mage. I think the Dryad Militant is gone, so it doesn't see this path to exile go to the graveyard. I'm pretty sure that's how it's going to work. Okay, Vines. Can't allow Vines to resolve. So then this will get passed. The flashback on the path will be able to target the Treetop Village. Snapcaster trades with Experiment 1. Yeah, so this is off the battlefield. Path goes to the graveyard. Okay, nice. So things worked like I thought they did. Yep. And I would like to path the Treetop Village. Please. And then I'll block the Experiment 1. And so then I get the first draw step. I have a Snapcaster Mage in hand. And we have plenty of good top decks at this point. The opponent, depending on their sideboard, might have some worse ones. Obviously, if they have no creatures in play, all their pump and hexproof effects aren't very good top decks, whereas most of our deck is. I don't think I want to play this island in case I draw a Nahiri so I can loot it away, or a Desolate Lighthouse. Okay, Experiment 1. Not the best, not the worst. Let's see, they might have another. Okay, a follow-up creature is a bit of an issue. Want removal here. These are all pretty poor. And I guess I have to Snapcaster back the Serum Visions. That's really my only course of action. So then Snapcaster can block one creature, and if I draw a removal spell here, we're still in it. Keranos, nope. I think we're just dead. Put that on the bottom, put that on top, and yeah, I don't know if there was maybe a way that we could have saved a point of damage this game, because at this point we would. I guess Rancor, it doesn't really matter. Yep, GG's opponent. Yeah, so I don't know. This I feel like should be a okay matchup for the deck. I mean, they just have a lot of creatures and we have a lot of removal. I guess we drew a few too many lands at the end of this particular game, but I mean, the deck does have some fairly resilient threats. I mean, Experiment 1 can regenerate. They have the different hexproof effects, so they can try to line up things against our removal pretty well. But overall, that was a pretty fun match. I always like to play control decks versus creature decks, especially creature decks that have some kind of tricksiness to them. Okay, so going into game 3 here. I think Staticaster is good on the play. I wonder if Crumble to Dust is a little bit loose for the matchup. I mean, if we did have as an answer to the Treetop Villages, that would be really nice. Again, maybe I cut. Maybe Cryptic's not the best. Like, it can be sort of a time walk effect. But I guess if we get to the late game, it's a little bit better on the play than it is on the draw. Maybe I do shave this other Think Twice. I don't know. Well, we'll try this. Definitely play first. This hand is really bad. This hand is much better. So we'll just fetch out a Hallowed Fountain. Okay, opponent mulled to 5. Yeah, so I'm going to put that on top, and then I'm just going to play Sulfur Falls tapped on this first turn of the game. And then on turn 2, going to fetch out Hallowed Fountain with the Flooded Strand, put that into play tapped, and cast Serum Visions. Just so we don't upset that scry value. I mean, we want to land. We know that we're going to draw 1, so there's, I guess, no point in fetching to cast the Serum Visions on turn 1, especially when this hand doesn't even have a turn 2 play. Okay, so Glacial Fortress, pretty good. So I think being able to go Supreme Verdict, kill the board, play Nahiri is going to be pretty good. And Keranos, I mean, it's fine, but I think Nahiri alone would be enough. So put that on bottom, put that on top. Pass the opponent. So hopefully the opponent just has to really extend into the board. And we can, get them with Supreme Verdict. Even if they recover nicely, we have Nahiri to put into play. Okay, Avatar of the Resolute. It's fine. I'm going to play the Island just to make them think maybe we don't have the mana for the Supreme Verdict. I mean, we did mulligan to 6 ourselves, so it's, a possibility. Okay, Treetop Village is a pretty good one for them to have. Rancor, sure. Rancor. Yeah, so we'll fire off Supreme Verdict. And at this point, they can't even, I mean, they need a land to, activate Treetop and equip a Rancor to it. Okay, so they're not really developing the board. I think what I want to do is play Nahiri and get rid of this Dispel. Okay, Blessed Alliance is a very good one. So the opponent now has to contend with both our life total and Nahiri. Okay, Dryad Militant. Rancor up the Dryad Militant. Double Rancor up the Dryad Militant. Okay. So here... I think I just want to first cast Serum Visions. So our options are going to be Blessed Alliance for put that on bottom, and Lighthouse. Yes, I don't really like that very much either. So we can I think I like exiling a Rancor here. Just makes it a little bit less likely that we die. And then if the opponent fires up a Treetop Village, we can just tap the team with Cryptic Command. And, draw a card. Again, Blessed Alliance is a sacrifice effect, so it doesn't the hexproof effects don't really do anything about it. Another Rancor, we exiled that, right? Okay, so it's the third Rancor. At this point, I think that's fine. So tap all creatures our opponents control and draw a card. We can exile the other Rancor. Okay, that's very nice. So we can condemn one creature and Blessed Alliance with the escalate to gain life. That falls off, goes back to hand. Okay, another 1 mana removal. Exile this other Rancor. So Nahiri has done a little bit of work this game, exiling these Rancors. That's been pretty nice for us. Sure, Treetop's fine. Response, I am going to path to exile that Dryad Militant. Fizzle the Rancor, hopefully. They could have had like a hexproof effect and just made them tap their Treetop Village. It's also fine. And then we're going to be able to escalate. Okay, so 3 Rancors dealt with, that's great. I wonder if they'll probably go after Nahiri. And we'll make them sacrifice the Treetop Village and... Okay, going after us. Interesting. 2 modes. Target player, that one. I would like the life. You could sack the creature. And this puts us in an excellent position to win the game. We do need to do so very quickly. I only have 2 minutes and 30 seconds, so I'll probably have to try to talk quickly if the opponent makes us play it out. But we're looking good. Cast Serum Visions. Dispel. Don't really want. Essence Scatter is a pretty good one to have. Plus. No discard. Okay, so I am going to have to play really quickly here. Plus. No discard. I think once I get 1 more land, I'll fire off a Sphinx's Revelation. Plus. And once I get this Nahiri to 10, I'll go search out Keranos. No discard, F6. I'll use Blessed Alliance with, I mean, I should technically escalate it, I think. Oh no, Dungrove Elder, not gonna use Blessed Alliance on Treetop Village anymore. Dungrove Elder is very threatening. Use Condemn or Path, whichever. Probably should have countered the Dungrove Elder, but I'm playing very quickly here. -8, go get Keranos. F6. And I should gain life, but I'm just going to fire this off for the sacrifice mode, just to save time. And at this point, I will actually discard a path because I just really want to find a win condition, like a Secure the Wastes. Running very low on time. Oh shit. Okay, F6. Okay, so this is I mean, this is a match that I should definitely be winning, but just, yeah, running so low on time. Essence scatter that, F6. Three to you, okay. Plus, discard, F6. F6. Play a land and F6. Really hoping to find F6. I secure the wastes. 3 to you. Serum Visions I think is worth casting just because we can help to find secure. Bottom, and F6. Let's discard Sphinx's Revelation. Never going to cast that. Ah! Oh, that's frustrating. Well, we ran out of time. I don't complain, you know, against the opponent not conceding. This is a league match, so. But I think this is, you know, without the clock on Magic Online, I think this is a match we definitely would have won. Oh well. Well, we'll see you for some more matches a little bit later on, so stay tuned, Stratters.